What up, everybody? Welcome to TTESPN. I am Vita Van Pelt, TTE to Vita. With me, Soy Sauce, residential IT tech, Philadelphia Eagles fans. What up, y'all? It's that time of the year. If you haven't already, by the time this drops, you should see another video already out on the NFC North. Go ahead, check that out. We had Ball Moonwalk. We just got done with his hood. It's that time for us, y'all, to continue to break down the divisions, going north, east, south, and west. Ready to go. So if you clicked here, do us a favor, drop a sub. If you like the video, drop a dislike too. Let us we okay. All commentary and all of that, we take all of that. Let us know what you like, don't like. It helps us out, man. But we're here for a good time and not a long time. How you feeling today, Sawyers?
Hey man, this was one of the harder divisions for me to do just because last year was so competitive, man. But I'm excited, man. I'm ready to get into it. This is one of the ones I was looking forward to talking about.
Nah, it definitely is. It definitely is. My initial thoughts on it started to change a lot the more that I started to look into the teams.
Yep.
Like a lot started to wow, like where I started at, then I was like, man, I don't know. It, like I said, man, a lot of divisions seem to be that way this year, man. So I'm definitely ready to get through it. For y'all that don't know, the order in which we will be breaking down the divisions will be from worst to first. So if your team finished last, you'll be the first ones up. So this division, it will be the Browns, Steelers, Ravens, then Bengals. So if you don't want to hear none of this, we don't got timestamps or whatever. Just scroll on through. Scroll on through, find your way on down. We'll figure it out. All right, but we're gonna be up with the Cleveland Browns first in the AFC North. Head coach Kevin Stefanski, last year's record 7-10. Definitely the highlighted team of last year because of their moves they made and Watson coming back off of their suspension. So to still kind of end up where they did was fairly impressive. Kind of to say the least about it. But Sawyers, what do you think about the Cleveland Browns and their offseason moves, man?
I mean, I like some of them. I don't think anything was like a needle mover for me looking at the Cleveland Browns. Right? Obviously, they're one of those defenses that are always going to be good as long as they got a Myles Garrett, as long as they got Ward over there in the back. I think
Yeah.
they're kind of just one of those teams that they're trying to figure it out this year. And I said this on my TikTok. If y'all are watching this too, and y'all like the shorts, and y'all came over from TikTok, you see my tag right here. You see Vita's right on the bottom of his screen. Go to tap on over there. But I don't know, man. It wasn't a team that like blew me away. I know they lost Brissett because man wants to be in a place where he can possibly get some time.
Yep.
But there wasn't anything that like blew me out the water saying, damn, Cleveland made a move. But at the same time, they're going to be a team that's going to cause problems, especially within this division for those other teams.
Yeah. Yep. So when I look at their roster, I was actually kind of more moved by how I feel like this seems to be a wide receiver core that fits what Watson and Stefanski likes to do. And the more that I looked at it, the more it started to kind of change my mind on what I initially thought about them. When we started this, I was like, okay, I don't think Cleveland did enough. That'll make me want to move them to the top. But then as I continue to look through, I was like, okay, I know who Amari Cooper is. There's a fantasy world of what people believe Elijah Moore could be, but then I'm like, okay, you got Marquise Goodwin, speedster, you got Cedric Tillman, speedster, Donovan People-Jones, and then an underlining quarterback. When your backup quarterbacks have traits that resemble your starters, that's a good thing. And I'm not talking about Joshua Dobbs. Talk about DTR, Dorian Thompson Robinson. The way that he'll be able to develop behind Watson could be something to watch out for. Definitely a player with some traits, and I think they got the mental part of the game down. O-line wise, I expect them to kind of stay where they're at. I think that's a staple of who Stefanski is. Like you said, with a Myles Garrett, with a Denzel Ward on defense, you're like, okay, well, where's the game changer on defense? And then I was kind of two signings that I like. I was like, well, they brought over Zadarius Smith. They signed Dalvin Thompson. Uh, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, I think's a joke. That's somebody who I'm like, okay, if you could take a leap into this defense, there could be, if him and Greg Newsome, two guys that came, out of that rookie class, if they could take a leap, then I'm like, man, I feel like Smith and Tomlinson coming over kind of sustain the fact that Clowney is gone.
Yeah. And I mean,
So
I don't think Clowney was really a game wrecker either. He was
that's the
somebody
thing.
that he was a good sustainer on the other side.
I
But
think the stat came out, and if I'm tripping, that he was actually a much better run at run stopper than he was a pass rusher last year.
Mm.
So I think with them bringing them in, it's kind of like, okay, you don't lose that part of it. Uh, Said with Ward there, I like Grant Delpit. He's one of the guys, kind of pretty high on. Juan Thornhill coming over. So I'm like, I like the floor, like you said, of where this defense is. And I'm looking at guys like, okay, let's see how this entire defense can look. The younger guys getting a little more time coming back into it next year. So, but yeah, when I really look at this receiving core, I think it could be very, very sneaky in what they can produce now with the whole year of Watson like being there, going into the offseason, them having film and some reps together, and then taking that into next year.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's gonna take 4 to 5 games for Deshaun Watson to still kind of figure it out. To end the year last year, he didn't really look like he was figuring it out and getting the feel back. Granted, we got to give him some grace because he's been out of the NFL for damn near a year, pretty much all year.
Yeah.
And then the first half of last year, so he was coming in on the back half trying to just get his legs under it, get his feel for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think now that he has a full offseason with the team, we'll get a good idea of what to expect from Deshaun Watson. But I want to kind of I want to give him some grace going into these first 4 to 5 games of the year.
See, I'm off that grace part because I gave him the end of the year to figure that out. I gave him y'all wasn't going to make a playoff push. You had those games for himself and Stefanski to figure things out, to test things, put things on physical tape to be like, okay, we're taking this into the offseason. So I don't feel like they should have a grace period. I feel like he's supposed to. I think a 4 or 5 game grace period puts this man's job on a hot seat. Because when I first started with Cleveland, I was like, there's a real chance if Stefanski's like what I think is the 4th team in his division, he could get fired.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I don't think him and Deshaun have a grace period. I think both of them, they're like, there's a real legit concern of like, okay, when we last saw him, he was a top tier quarterback in the league. Time has moved on. Now you got 2 other guys in your division for a fact who right now is over you. And if you don't close that gap or you don't come back to who you are, then yeah, this could get very, very bad for Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that 4 or 5 games was the games that he came back to last time. I think they have to hit the ground running.
I can see that. I think too, like he has a whole lot of like upside, especially with that running game. You still have Nick Chubb over there, who's probably top 3, top 4 running backs in the league. We're talking about a pure just a running back. You got Nick Chubb, and you got a hell of an O line. So
yeah, and I'm looking at Goodwin, Tillman, and Peoples-Jones, and I'm looking back at what Watson did when he had like Will Fuller and all of them, and I'm like, these dudes, it's Stefanski. He sends it. Like he sends it based off of Nick Chubb. Like if you give him the right look, he's be like, hey yo, forget that slant route, we gone. Mm-hmm. So like I can see a real potential in like Cedric Tillman, for example, playing from Tennessee with Hendon Hooker, and they was air raid type offense. Like these dudes can go. Marcus Goodwin can go. Elijah Moore can pick up a lot from Amari Cooper. Like I see a lot of ability in this that could potentially stretch the field. Jakeem Grant didn't even forgot all about that. Like God, dog. Like they got a lot of ability, man, to really be like, hey, you gonna fill up the box with Chubb, like, or you're gonna try to. We're gonna burn, bro. I think I would not be shocked by seeing this, man. The more that I looked at it, I was like, man, I think they're gonna full send this mug next year. So, which they got to, like I said, because they can't end at the bottom of the division again. There's just no way that they could do it, or people will get fired. So,
somebody getting fired next year, then.
Yeah. 3 key players. Who's your 3 key players for the Cleveland Browns?
3 key players for the Cleveland Browns. I gotta go with Deshaun Watson as number 1.
Yeah,
facts. I mean, I think that's the obvious. Is
yeah, we try to stay away from quarterbacks, but sometimes you have to look at the quarterback, be like, nah, this is. Yeah. I personally try to stay away from mentioning the quarterback.
Same.
But nah, this one is Deshaun Watson. It's on you.
This one is extremely obvious. It's just Deshaun Watson, right? The other part of that is I'm gonna go into the secondary into Greg Newsome.
Yep.
You got some dogs that you're going to be playing twice a year in your own division,
Yep.
right? With the Ravens, with the Bengals, they have 3 number 1 receivers over there, 2 guaranteed number 1 receivers on any other team. Then you got,
Yep.
the addition of Odell Beckham over there in Baltimore. So I'm looking at Greg Newsome. What are you going to do? Denzel Ward. We already know Denzel Ward, your quarterback, your cornerback 1.
Yep.
Greg Newsome, what are you doing?
Yep.
Show me something. So he's going to be my number 2. And then my other one is Zadarius Smith. He was a huge topic for us last offseason going into the season with him signing with the Minnesota. And
Yep.
we had a whole comparison of him and Hassan Reddick, who was going to have the better output. Man had 1 year and they released him.
Yep.
So he's the other person that I'm looking at saying you're on the other side of Myles Garrett now.
Yep.
Do something with it.
Yeah. I have the exact same first 2 as you, Watson and Newsom. I have the exact, those are 2. And then my third will be Joke. I said, man, I think dude's got a lot of potential. I loved what I saw in him, and I think he's going to be very, very good. And so this is just kind of that time of like, let's see where you really are and what you really can be. Are you just kind of, the Swiss Army knife type dude? Like, what are you going to do over there having another year under your belt, man? So yeah, Newsom, Joke, and Watson are my 3 key players for the Browns being a successful to the Browns' success this year.
Cool.
So
With it.
all right, let's go on. Let's look at their schedule, man, and see if this can open eyes or humble us
First
up
4
into it,
games.
up into the bye week. So when I looked at this initially, I was like 1-3, but I don't think they can go 1-3. So I gave them 2-2 by the bye week, and the only guaranteed dub I gave them was Tennessee. I said they have to win one of the other ones.
Yeah. I'm gonna give them at home against Baltimore. I'm gonna give them at home against Cincinnati. Last year, Cincinnati showed us week 1. You made that call. I think that was against Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, yeah.
They showed us that we like to show start slow.
Yeah.
And this might be that game that they drop in the division. It's against the division rival. They're gonna be at home against Cincinnati. Cincinnati lost some pieces on defense.
Yep.
So
yeah,
I think I'm gonna drop in that one.
Yeah, I gave them 2-2 at least by the bye week. But the more that I also think about it, the more that I think they might end up sweeping Pittsburgh.
Damn. You got them sweeping Pittsburgh?
I don't know. It's just something something the last day when I just been reviewing. I was like, I don't know, man. Like you said, at some point, these divisions seem close. You kind of have to make a call on somebody, and that call is either going to make you look good or look bad.
Mm-hmm.
I told you last year I planted my flag on Patriots being a 5-win team, and they did better than that. So like with some of these teams, like when it's so close, like everybody can't be 7-8, 9-8 and 9 and 9-8. Like everybody can't be that. Like at some point, you just got to make a call on somebody. And the more that I was looking, I was like, if Pittsburgh, and we'll talk about them, and then I'll probably be able to explain to you why I kind of think this is a possibility. Also, why my initial thought could be true. Also, so eventually, I'm gonna have to pick one. But right now, I'll give them 2-2 by the bye week.
Okay, so
but I do have them coming out of the bye week beating Frisco.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
So so first 4 games, just for the sake of making sure I'm getting it all recorded. I actually have them coming out
the bye week winning 3 or 4.
3 or 4, only losing to Seattle, huh?
Potentially, yeah.
Okay, so
even if they don't lose to Seattle and Frisco, one of them is going to be an L or a dub. Mm-hmm. I don't got them 4-0, but one of them. So I got them 3 and 4 outside after the bye week.
So right now I got loss against Cincinnati, win against Tennessee, loss against Baltimore, and then a win against Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And I'm just writing it down based on the conversation and whatnot. So you got them beating San Francisco, which I'm cool with.
After coming out the bye week early,
beating Indy.
I had them losing to Seattle.
I can see that.
Beating Arizona.
Losing
to
Baltimore. So they're gonna get swept by Baltimore.
One of them, yeah.
Pittsburgh. And you say you got them sweeping Pittsburgh. So I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna continue with that trend, and I'm gonna record that too. Denver. We got them beating Denver. It's in Denver too.
Ooh, that's tough.
Week 12.
You know what? I'm gonna actually have them. Ooh, that's back-to-back trips.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have Denver winning, and I'll have them beat the Rams.
Damn, in the Rams. Win against the Rams. Jacksonville, I think we're pretty solid that they'll lose against Jacksonville.
And they got them at home, so I'm actually gonna take them at home.
Oh damn. I'm
Yeah, I
gonna
don't think
record that as a dub.
I don't think Jacksonville can handle that run game.
Chicago. In Chicago. Or at home against Chicago. Excuse me.
That's a dub. That's a dub. Houston's a dub.
Damn.
New York at home could be a dub.
Damn. And then Cincinnati in Cincinnati to finish the season.
That's an L.
All right, so let me count this up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 11 wins. An 11-win season?
So 11-win ceiling. Yeah, I will give them an 11-win ceiling. And this is my two train of thoughts. Is this is an 11-win team or this is a 7-win team? And the reason why I think the gap is like that, and I just kind of want to do it because I feel like they had those games. This is an 11-win team if Deshaun Watson is who we think he is and who he left off to be. Then I think this is an 11-win team. But if he comes back and he can't make it debatable with Lamar and with Joe in this division, then yeah, this ain't pretty.
I'm gonna go
This
with
is
the floor. Damn. I'm definitely around 7. I got their floor at 6 wins, and then I got their ceiling at 9 wins.
I think there's a real yeah. I will go floor 7, ceiling 11.
Cool. Damn, that's crazy. I mean, we did say this, on the other recording, on the other time we talked about the NFC North, is we're gonna have to plant our flag somewhere. We did that last year with the Patriots, and it came back to.
I know I'll be able to once we get through like all the divisions and we get to the conference and we really have to put it there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll be able to be like, okay, who I really feel confident in saying, like, all right, I'm willing to stand on this thing. But the more that I think about it, the more I just like look at this team and was like, there's really that potential for this team to be like that because Stefanski was coach of the year long ago, man.
And when it happens,
And
I'm
so
gonna have a chart for us at the end too, that'll basically show how we predicted it per team with the
yeah,
records on it, and it'll show the Browns. We predicted them beating all these teams compared to the other teams. We'll have it broken down by division. That way, we can come back and look at it in a division view from AFC to NFC and make the changes as needed. But
yeah.
damn.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on Cleveland, man, and what you kind of think about them?
No, man. I mean, I'm not gonna say that I'm not behind you with it just because, like I said, man, I think this will be the team to cause problems in this division. If anything, I don't think they're gonna be a contending team to make it to the playoffs or to contend for a wild card spot, but they'll definitely mess up somebody's bid for the wild card spot. This was one of the divisions that I got potentially 3 teams coming out of in the AFC.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
man, we'll see.
Just a part of me, like the more that I looked at him, the more I was like, man, put some respect on Stefanski. Like he's finally gonna. Last offseason when they got Deshaun and all the suspension, it was just so much going on. But like now he just like it's quiet. You can get everybody together and figure stuff out. So I'm kind of just really starting to. I'm not saying I'm there yet. Lean into the fact that this was a coach of the year and Deshaun should end up being a top 5. Well, I don't know how we're gonna come back and not say is or if Deshaun isn't a top 5 quarterback in the division. So
Damn, in the AFC.
that's the thing. If he's not a top 5 quarterback in the AFC, then this is the 7-win team and he's fired. like everybody, they're gonna blow this hoe up. But if he is a top five quarterback in the division, then it starts to make some real problems.
What's crazy is I
So
think if they go 7-10, that they have no choice but to continue to invest at least the next 2 years, just because of how much money they have invested in him.
yeah, and I think so too. I think like it would have to be something extremely catastrophic to blow it up. And I'm also like say, don't move off of a coach if you don't have a better one. And then I mean, I'm looking at like, of course, we're gonna throw around Brian Flores because we're blind Flores guys. But I mean, does that really help the investment you made in Deshaun?
Right.
Or like, does the Eric Bieniemy help the investment you made in Deshaun? Like, and Eric's probably like I said, we probably gonna be standing on Eric taking over Ron Rivera. So it's almost like they said, I'm with you. It's almost like one of those yo bite the bullet and see it through situations.
Yeah.
So
Like we're gonna give you these next 2 years to show us that it's worth to continue to invest, because after the 2 years
yeah,
it's kind of up,
yeah,
big dog.
yeah, it's kind of up. So
Cool.
so you're right. All right, gets us to the end of the Cleveland Browns, man. On to the next team, Sir Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers. No losing season yet, man. Uh, every year the question is going to be asked, will he finally get his under 500 season? So Pittsburgh Steelers, man, when I look at what they've done in the offseason, um, Isaac came over securing the left guard position. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying?
Huge
That should
addition for
help
them.
out. Your first round draft pick is going to start at left tackle, Broderick Jones.
Broderick Jones.
You draft Joey Porter Jr., obviously lineage. If he's anything like his pops, you'd be cool. You've brought in old man Patrick Peterson to come play on the other side. You probably should have took note. The last team that brought him over to play didn't like where their defense ended up at.
It was
So
one of the worst defenses in the NFL.
you got T.J. Watt and Micah and Mike Tomlin. I still don't think that's a place you want to be at this point in time. So that's gonna be a little funny.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the investments made into the O line that should hopefully open up the run game, which will then hopefully help Kenny pick it out, man. But it's Mike Tomlin, man. One of the standards of coaching, and I'm not too blown away by some of the stuff that I see. Like I said, outside of helping to secure and invest in the O line, I was kind of like, okay, you did that part. Now, maybe I was a year early in calling this Najee Harris super big year out, man. But yeah, at least you did that part, and we'll see where it goes from there, man. So, what you think about Pittsburgh, Goose?
Man, I'm behind you on everything, especially the huge add in Isaac. Isaac was one of the big pieces for us to lose as the Eagles, but I think that was definitely needed for the Steelers. The defense, I don't think they got better. I don't think anything moved the needle, like you said. Bringing over Joey Porter Jr. That's going to be. I don't know if it solidifies the secondary. It definitely strengthens it. Patrick
Yeah,
Peterson on the other side kind of counterbalances that though, right?
yeah,
Because now you got an older guy on the back end, older guy as your number 2 corner. That now who you're probably going to have to shadow with, DeMonte Casey and Minka Fitzpatrick. You're gonna have to put somebody over the top of him
yeah,
damn near all game. You got an aging Cameron Hayward, but one thing that we've seen with Mike Tomlin is he's able to milk the hell out of everything he has. They got Braden Fehoko, who I think is another underrated pickup for them. They got him
yeah.
third on the depth chart. And man, we always gonna be a big fan of Jalen Warren. Shout out to Jalen
Yeah,
Warren,
yeah,
man.
no doubt, no doubt.
Running back number 2, undrafted, going into his second year. But if I'm looking at this team, right, and I'm taking out Mike Tomlin's name, I'm immediately saying this team is a bottom team. Yes, you have TJ
Yeah,
Watt. Yes, you have Cameron Hayward. Yes, you have those guys that you have on defense. But I'm immediately looking at this team and saying, nah, I don't like what I'm looking at. But then you add Mike Tomlin, and it's almost like when you add Mike Tomlin, you're also adding 3 to 4 wins
yeah.
strictly off his coaching.
So this is my uh issue with Pittsburgh and with Cleveland that we talked to them back to back. So just to jump to it, is one of your key players going to be Kenny Pickett?
No,
No.
no.
Okay. For me,
I
he's the only. For me, he's the only.
I really tried not to make him a key player on purpose. Like I went out of my way not to make him a key player. because I look at him and right now after last year, him and Mitch Trubisky is basically the same player. Mitch,
And that's a big problem.
yeah,
That's the problem. It's Kenny Pickett is the only key player to me.
yeah,
Like being real, I wanted to say Broderick Jones, but you're a rookie left tackle. I don't want to put that much stress on you. I wanted to say Joey Porter Jr., but you're a rookie cornerback. I don't want to put that much stress on you. I want to say health because if TJ Watt's there, he helps out so much. Like I want to say all this stuff, but then at the end of the day, I'm looking at Kenny Pickett and I'm like, bro, if you're the worst quarterback in the division, then there's going to be problems for Pittsburgh. And that's also what made me go back and double check Cleveland because I was like, well, if Deshaun makes it debatable with Kenny, then that's a problem for Cleveland. But
right,
if Deshaun jumps up there with Lamar and Joe, like we think he will, then that becomes a problem for Pittsburgh.
right,
So
right.
now it becomes a problem of, yo, you clearly have the worst quarterback in the division. It's not even close, and you're slowly starting to have the worst quarterback in the conference. Because Kenny's probably going to be pretty low on our list when we rank the AFC. So that's going to be like, bro, you're damn sure probably not a top 10 quarterback in the conference.
Yeah, he's
And
definitely
I
gonna
don't,
be below that line.
yeah, yeah, and I don't see a world where I like Pat Fryermuth. Dope. I like Darnell Washington and the potential of what he could be more so to the run game. Dope. It said, I like the running backs, Najee, Jalen. I think they could kill. Johnson, what was Johnson's stats? I don't think Johnson had a touchdown last year.
Let's find
86
out.
catches, 882 yards, 0 touchdowns. He cooked Carolina for like 10 plus catches, I think. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, no
And bro couldn't,
touchdowns.
yeah, and bro couldn't get a touchdown. And that was because they threw the damn ball to just whoever J.C. Horn wasn't guarding. So that's what they did. Like I don't George Pickens, like and Allen Robinson doesn't move me not a single bit in this.
Nah.
He really doesn't. Like I think the only key player to what Pittsburgh can and can't be is Kenny Pickett. And I'm almost ready to lean into the fact that I just want to say, in the grand scheme of the AFC, he's gonna suck.
Damn.
I don't see a world where he becomes a top 8 quarterback in the conference at the end of this year. And
He
that's going to be a
he gotta
problem.
have a crazy jump from last year to this year for us to
He,
even have
oh,
a conversation
okay,
about him
here.
in the top 10.
Year two, Oos. Year two, we didn't need this much convention to be like, yo, Justin Herbert's going to be up there. Year two, we didn't need this type of convention from other players to be like, yo, they're going to be up there. Year 2 or year 3. This man's going into year 2, and he's walking in with guys who are going to be in their prime.
Actually,
I
so
just don't see a world where Kenny Pickett's going to make that leap.
2404.
And I can hear it now. I can hear it now. But he led 4 game-winning drives at the end of the year, and there should be potential in that.
He wouldn't even have been in
I
that
ain't,
situation if he was a better quarterback.
yeah, I ain't even gonna hold you. I know one specifically. Derek Carr handed y'all.
Oh
Derek
yeah.
Carr handed them the win in the Raiders game because I remember I was catching a flight back, and I was sitting there like, damn, Derek can't really do it. I think that like there's just that. It's tough for me to think that. And so I would more rather lean my flag on Mike Tomlin's gonna get at the end of this year and be like, yo, I can't have a 500 season because Kenny Pickett isn't the dude. But their schedule might allow it to happen.
Okay. Okay. I actually have the
Yeah.
whole O line as a key player. Like I ain't even going defense because I trust the defense to do what the defense is gonna do. I think the O line is gonna be the key for him because like if the O line does what they need to do,
Yeah.
we're gonna truly see what Kenny Pickett is able to do. Because
No,
I
that's
think they
right.
fed the ball to Najee almost too much last year.
And that's the thing is I'm with you. Is I think the O line, but there's like, and this is like the line where I talk about there's a having a sustainable O line. There's the line of like, does the quarterback make the O line worse? Does the O line make the quarterback worse? But like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, I look and we look at Joe Burrow, and every year it's get him some help, get him some help.
Get him an O
And
line.
yeah, and bro's still putting up godly numbers. You know what I'm saying? Granted, he got Chase, and there's no Chase on his team. He's putting up godly numbers. Justin Herbert came in, bad O line, still putting up godly numbers, and he gave
Hurt
us that sign.
receivers. Hurt
Hurt
receivers.
receivers, and still gave us. So they're like, what was the reason we never really loved Ryan Tannehill? Because it was always like everything had to be perfect for you to produce.
Yeah.
And if everything wasn't perfect for you to produce, then you wasn't going to raise the ceiling of nothing. So I'm just kind of stuck with this man on what I think he could be. And I said, I'm much more closer to being like, being an average quarterback isn't good enough for where you're at right now.
Yeah, especially in that division
Yeah,
specifically.
because I'm not going to say he's going to suck. But like, bro, the AFC is stacked. Your division has 2 top 5s in the conference, potentially 3 top 7s. Like, bro, you're going to be the worst quarterback in your division, and it's going to be bad.
Man,
So
I
I'm
see now
just
why you
like,
got them getting swept by the Browns.
yeah. So I'm like, I said that's just where I'm more leaning at. I'm pretty much almost ready to be like, yo, Mike, man, you're going to get at the end of this year and be like, yo, Kenny, it ain't enough.
Let me pull their schedule up.
Yeah, let's look at their schedule. Because I think their schedule will allow room for him to win. I'm more confident in them having a winning season than I am Cleveland.
Damn.
But let's go through it and see. Week 1 versus Frisco at home.
I got them winning that.
See, that's the game that I think the 49ers defense and F. Kenny pick it up.
I thought, man, I think JJ Watt and that defense is going to do the same thing to
Even though
Lance.
TJ doesn't, yeah, that's why I said I think they gonna mess him up too. So you know what I'm saying? I'm just kind of like, who's gonna mess up more? But I'll give Pittsburgh the home team dub. 49er fans is gonna be pissed because we don't never seem to be giving them wins. Week 2 versus Cleveland
We got
at
them losing. I
home.
think you had them losing that one.
I gave them the toss up, but I'll give them the home here. So they're 2-0 at the Raiders, 3-0 40 Houston, 4-0 Baltimore. The 4-1 should be the worst that this team should be at the bye week, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
At least, but this to me is off the strength of Mike.
Oh
When
yeah,
I
yeah,
really,
100%,
when
100%.
I really think they'll probably be 3-2 at the bye. And like I said, this is like Green Bay. Anything under 500 at the bye is concerning.
So we have them beating Baltimore at home.
Yeah, I'll give them Baltimore at home. I'll give them Houston. I'll give them the Raiders. And I really don't want to give them Baltimore at home. I more want to give them Frisco. But we gave them Frisco.
So they're
So
4-1 with the
Frisco,
loss coming to Cleveland.
yeah.
And then they come out of the bye week to the Rams.
See, I gave them a dub.
Jacksonville.
That's at home. I'll give them a dub.
Damn. Tennessee.
I give them a dub.
Green Bay. At home.
I'll give them a dub. Then they'll drop Cleveland and Cincy at there. They'll win Arizona. They'll win New England. I'll give them Indy. Late in the season, Cincinnati will be up.
They're losing to New England or beating New England?
Beating New England.
Okay.
Losing to Indy. And then I think I'll just say 2-1 over the last 3.
2-1, 2-1. Oh, okay. So beating Cincinnati, beating Seattle, and they're losing Baltimore.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. That gives them 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 wins, 5 losses as a ceiling.
I say that. I don't believe that.
I don't believe 12-5 either. I actually had them winning 9 to 10 at the ceiling. Yeah, winning like 9 to 10, just because I had them losing to like Jacksonville. I had them losing to who else did I have them losing to? New England.
A 12-win team with Kenny Pickett means he outplayed like Deshaun and Cleveland, and they played these close like Pittsburgh like games. And I just the part of me just don't want to believe it. Part of me was to stand up here and say, I think Pittsburgh's gonna really suck.
What's the floor for them? What's the floor for them? Like 8? Could they easily be like an 8 and 9 team? Because some of the back and forth games we talked about was like Frisco. Them losing to Frisco, we give them a win. Them losing to Baltimore and probably getting swept by them even at home before the bye.
Their floor for me. Their floor for me. 1 second. Let me.
It's tough. Because the only thing I had changing
Their
going
floor
into
for
this
me is
season,
5 wins. Their floor for
5
me is 5.
wins. Oh man.
Yeah.
So they go from 12-5 to 5-12.
Yeah.
Damn. Because the only thing I had changing in this division this year was 1 and 2. 1 and 2 can go back and forth either way to me. 1 and 2 can go either way for me. 3 or 4, I think, is going to continue to be the Steelers and the Browns.
I
Damn.
already know where I really want to lean on this.
Where's that?
Pittsburgh's going to be a 6-win team.
Damn.
That's what that's what my heart wants to plant the flag on Pittsburgh the same way I did New England. My heart wants to say, I think Pittsburgh is going to be bad this year.
Ooh.
Because everybody can't be a 500 team, man. Everybody can't be a 500 team. Everybody can't. It's just not how it's going to happen. And I know we're so far out, man, but it's just not going to happen. And if I was to be real with you, only before the bye week, the only 2 dubs I want to give them, and I still think Raiders and Devontae Adams could F them up, you know what I'm saying, just off the strength of Tay going off. Like, I just want to give them 2 wins at the bye week. I don't want to give them a dub against the Rams because Matt Stafford and Aaron Donald might find a way to do it. Jacksonville should be a dub. Tennessee could be on a short week tougher than we think with Vrabel, Henry, Jeffrey Simons, and all of them. I don't want to write Tennessee off as being bad under Mike Vrabel. There's a chance that if Green Bay and Jordan Love is, potentially good, that team could give them problems. Getting swept by Cleveland. I really am trying to find a tough way to say that you beat Cincinnati. Arizona, New England, y'all can have them. Indianapolis, you can have that. But then after that, like, that's it. I look at 5 wins that I say you should have.
Damn. From 12-5 is a ceiling to 5-12 is a floor. I mean, I could see it. I don't know if I could believe in 5. I don't want to believe in 5. I don't know. I just don't. I don't want to doubt Mike Tomlin that much. I think we did that to Bill last year, and Bill was like, "Nah, dog."
No, you're right. Like you did that to Bill last year.
And I hold Tomlin in the same regard. I hold Tomlin in the same regard I hold Bill.
They scratched by on some games too because they swept the Jets. See what I'm saying? Like, they swept the Jets. Minus the Jets soil, and we'd have been pretty, like, almost on par with where we probably.
We know how nasty these games could get in the AFC North too, though. Like,
yeah,
like we know how nasty these games can get, and it mostly comes down to a field goal anyway. So it could go either way.
A part of me is really like, there's a chance, man. They probably might be a year early. Probably said it was gonna suck last year. He might have been a year early, man. So I'm really, really starting to lean that way, as I think Pittsburgh's gonna be bad. So you started it off saying it. Minus Mike Tomlin, this is a bottom 5 team, bro.
Damn, 5 wins.
And sometimes
Mike Tomlin honestly carries them to that 4 or 5. Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes a dog just has its day, and it's not a 5-win team isn't getting Mike Tomlin fired. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
I don't think that.
All right, man. Any final?
It's hard for me to see. Damn, man, 5 wins. Nah, not really. I think this defense will find a way to carry them 1 or 2 games, and then we'll see some.
Man.
We're gonna see some Kenny Pickett magic, but I think that Kenny Pickett magic will again give them 9 wins. Like 9-8 for me is a great season for them again. And it's also a season for them to say, all right, Kenny, you ain't it, dog. Thank you.
I'm about ready to call it. We'll see. I'm really about ready to call it that I think Pittsburgh couldn't have a bad year this year.
Damn. Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin's first under 500 season. I never thought I'd see the day.
So yeah, people are it's probably gonna get roasted about that, but I'm not saying it. But the more that I look at it, the more I'm like, I think I might need to call this one. So, any
You know,
final thoughts on Pittsburgh, man?
no, man, I know the Ravens fans about to come for you though.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Ravens fans are gonna come for you because they're gonna enjoy what you're saying about the Steelers, and then the Steelers fans are gonna come for you the other way.
Yeah, so that's gonna be wild, man. All right, man. To the Baltimore Ravens, Tua, TT, nuts, Ravens gang, baby. Let's get it, man. So, in the words of Tua, he would say, Patrick Queen sucks. I'm glad that we didn't re-sign him. We drafted Trenton Simpson. So let's see how he moves around. Roquan will have this defense at a top 5 level. There should be an all-pro year out of Kyle Hamilton, Marlon Humphrey, Rock Ya-Sin coming over to replace Marcus Peters. Ben Powers kind of frustrates me about leaving that O-line. I think Baltimore's O-line is probably due for some regression, just going off vibes. But you did the most important thing you were supposed to do. You re-signed Lamar Jackson. You gave him a new offensive coordinator, and you gave him Zay Flowers, OBJ, and I mean, what? We're not, I'm not even going to add D Hop into this equation because we're going to be fantasizing him to every single team.
Yeah.
And I don't think D Hop moves the needle on any team except for the ones at the bottom. So I don't think he takes none of these.
He ain't going
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I don't think none of these teams that are contending change with him. I think he might help a team out the bottom, grab a couple extra wins, help with some development, but he's not, and I don't, again, off vibes, he don't seem to be wanting to go there. Lamar Jackson's back, man. Todd Monken, I believe that's his name's going to be the offensive coordinator. So they're, but this is the point of the year where everybody talks good about all the moves they made and all the additions they made. So everybody's in that honeymoon phase with everything right now. So OBJ is not the one who moves the needle for me because he's probably only going to play like 8 games. What Zay Flowers, Isaiah Likely, and Rashad Bateman can be is what moves the needle for me. That's what's going to move the needle for what I think this team could be. But I do have my concerns about the fact that Baltimore's O line, I don't know, man. Like, I wish I can give you a straight on say so, but last year we took Boatsman from them. They replaced him with Linderbaum. Powell. Like I said, just a part of me is like, we'll see what this O line looks like coming into this year. So, what's your thoughts on the Ravens, man, and their additions?
I think the Ravens one of the only teams in the NFL that can afford not the greatest O line. They can afford an O line regression this year. They're
Yeah,
one of the only teams. One of the, I mean, obviously we're gonna look at guys like Odell Beckham, Zay Flowers. We're gonna look at a healthy Devin Duvernay. We're gonna look at a healthy Gus Edwards. Bringing in Rock Ya-Sin. I'm more so interested, not necessarily on any of the additions, but on the second year of Kyle Hamilton. I want to see this. I want to see what he has. I know he wasn't 100% healthy throughout the last year, missing some games or just missing some portions of games because of injury. But Kyle Hamilton is somebody I'm gonna be watching this year. Overall, also though, I want to see what Lamar does with his newfound weapons in Odell Beckham, Rashad Bateman. Isaiah Likely broke out huge last year for me. I love that
yeah,
dude, especially in fantasy. But what's he gonna do with 2 running backs that are gonna be healthy all year? Right. He's gonna have 2 pretty good tight ends in Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. He's gonna
yeah,
have a guy like Rashad Bateman back. Gonna have Zay Flowers, and he's gonna have Odell Beckham for the 8 to 10 games that he does play.
yeah,
This could be either, Lakers Showtime on the turf. I'm not gonna go ahead and put them in the same breath as the greatest show on turf, the Rams,
yeah,
but they could be really really exciting, or they could just be ugly to watch.
yeah, yeah. Lamar is like one of the best week 1 quarterbacks ever. Bro, we started week
Bruh.
1. So yeah, we'll get to see what that looks like pretty early here. So some key players for me for Baltimore this year. Most of them do come from the defensive side. I don't want to put the emphasis on Kyle Hamilton because I'm high on him.
Mm.
He's another one of them dudes. Rock Ya-Sin, he's been pretty good corner, I feel like, for the Colts. him coming over replacing Marcus Peters. We'll see what they try to do with that. Odafe Owe and David Ajabo will be my other two that I'm looking at. Ajabo was a guy who, spent a lot of time hurt through the whole rookie process, came back, I think towards the end of the year. I want to see how he works his way into the rotation. I want to Owe say they always have some type of guy who kind of breaks out onto the scene from the edge. We'll see what Owe looks like in the process. Roquan, beast middle linebacker. We know how that goes. Hopefully, Patrick, like that, rubs off on Patrick Queen a little bit, so Tua doesn't have to spam us up in the chat of the many moves and things that he doesn't do right. And then, like I said, you're right. Baltimore can afford some O line regression. But we'll definitely, but they can afford it only if their entire wide receiver core and tight end stay intact. Bateman, as high as I am on him, shown to have some injuries. We still don't know what Zay Flowers can and will be in the league. And then there's OBJ. So there's a chance we could get to week 4 and Devin Duvernay is their number 1 wide receiver because these other dudes are just out and about, man. We don't really know. I mean, it might open up more opportunity to like 2 tight end packages or whatever, but yeah, I like Owe, Ojabo, and Rocky Sin are the guys I'll be looking at.
Cool. I'm gonna be looking at Isaiah Likely, J.K. Dobbins, and Tyler Linderbaum. Tyler Linderbaum, for me, obviously we look at every O-line and we look at the center. And the center is the quarterback of the O-line. That's going to be the key for me to figure out how they drive that O-line. How much did he pick up after last year? He had a hell of a last year.
Yeah,
how does he take that into year 2? How does he, continue to quarterback that O-line? Quarterback protection for Lamar Jackson. We know he's coming out. He said he want to throw for 5,000-6,000 yards, especially with this team. And the reason I say Isaiah Likely, because this is around the time of the year in a tight end's career, Mark Andrews specifically, when you make the decision as a franchise and as a team to say, how much are we going to continue to invest in you? And do we have your backup to feel comfortable to trade you away? You saw the Eagles do that with Zach Ertz. You just kind of see that with tight ends around the league, right? And we see with all these next level athletes coming out as tight ends, seeing guys like Isaiah Likely break out. Now it's a matter of, do we want a 2 tight end set? Yeah. Or can we start scaling back what we do with Mark Andrews? Start looking at Isaiah Likely a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I think he's somebody to look out for this year. Catch a lot of touchdown passes in those 2-3 tight end sets. But I'm gonna keep it all on offense just because I'm going off of what Lamar Jackson said he wants to do this year. I know it was half joking, but also we've been screaming, get Lamar some receivers.
No, it honestly can be half joking because bro won an MVP with what we felt was less, and now he's got signed and he has what should be more than enough. So like the number, obviously the number's high, but like he has to have that type of category, that type of season. He has to be back up there, or this is going to get bad for them too.
Yeah, top 3, 4 quarterbacks last year were at 4,500, around there, 45, 47, 46. So it's like, if you want to be in that conversation, you've got to be at least at 4K next year.
Yeah. Ooh, sorry, man. Let's take a look at the Baltimore Ravens schedule. Over under 3 touchdowns week 1 versus Houston at home.
Over.
4 or 5 of them hoes on.
Yeah. He gonna be in the game even if they up 35-3 in the third quarter.
He gonna try to throw 4 or 5. Hey, that's crazy. CJ Stroud versus what should be CJ Stroud. We'll see if it is CJ Stroud in a Lamar Jackson week 1 matchup. Week 2 at Cincy. They got a later bye week 13. So I'll start to walk down the list and debut the games I think they should win. Houston, Indy. They're at Cleveland and Pittsburgh back-to-back. Wouldn't be shocked if they lost. But yeah, I'll give them 3 on Pittsburgh. Have them losing at Cleveland. I'll give them Tennessee at home versus Detroit. I'll give that 5, 6. Arizona at Seattle. I'll give them Seattle 7 at home versus Cleveland. 8. I'll give them 9 wins by the bye week.
Damn. You got them losing in LA?
Yes.
Losing in LA. Then they're coming out the bye week against The Rams
They're gonna stay in LA
at
for
home.
2 weeks. They'll blow the Rams out after the bye week in LA. The whole team's gonna stay in LA for 3 total weeks, and they're gonna blow the hell out of the Rams.
In
Nah, they're
Jacksonville.
not for her. Yeah, and then they travel all the way back to Jacksonville. I That feels like a revenge game. They lost to them last year. So I'll give them the Rams. That's 10. Can they lose
Frisco.
back to back to Jacksonville and Frisco? It's a hell of a travel from LA to Jacksonville back.
I got him
I'm gonna
beating.
give
I got him beating Frisco.
God, Frisco fans ain't heard nothing but us really say that their team is gonna lose. I can't. We gotta, but they gonna be like one of the last divisions we gotta talk about too.
Yeah, when we get into
Ah,
their division though, they're gonna see they gonna have a lot of wins because it's gonna be within the division.
I You gotta beat in Miami
I
at
got him beating
home
Miami too. That's the revenge game for them.
and Pittsburgh.
They could beat Pittsburgh at home.
So this is like a 12-5 team. Also,
Was that 12 wins? Two,
I'm just
three.
saying 12.
Damn, that's 3 losses though that I have recorded. Cincinnati, Cleveland, Chargers. Did I miss somebody? Because they're sweeping Pittsburgh from what I have on here. Losses
So
at
I'll say
Cincinnati.
a ceiling of 12-5, a floor of 9-8.
Damn, my ceiling for them is 13-14. 9-8 floor. Damn. I mean, 12-5 ain't bad. 12-5 is I mean, it makes sense. I got them. So I had them in Cincinnati 1-2. Obviously, the 1 and 2 is easily swapped back and
Yeah,
forth, and they're going to be within
yeah,
1 or 2 games of each other. So
yeah,
based on this, we're pretty much there.
yeah. But yeah, I like 12-5, 9-8. I like that. I think 9-8 should be the worst that they should be. Instead, yeah, I'll take that.
I think if 9-8 happens, it's because somebody got hurt.
Yeah, yeah,
100% healthy, 12-5 is completely
yeah.
possible.
Final thoughts on the Baltimore Ravens before we move on.
What's crazy is we're a year removed for saying John Harbaugh was on the hot seat having a bad season to now going into this year saying 12-5, and if they're 9-8, we're not even going to say that Harbaugh's on the hot seat because I think he's also one of those coaches that are pretty locked in unless
Hey
he
man,
goes under 500.
he's a made man, and said like we talk. Specifically for John? They're locked into the new contract, the new coordinator with Lamar and stuff. So they still think that their window is wide open to be competitive throughout this time. So yeah, I don't see a world where this is an under 500 team. So
Yeah, no,
God,
no last thoughts, no bold predictions, nothing like that for me.
all right. Let's move on to the final team in AFC North, the winners, a back-to-back AFC Conference Championship game. Uh, what's the word for it? Visitors, I guess. Back-to-back years. The Cincinnati Bengals. This was another team. Like it's tough. So for me, it's much easier when you talk about lower end teams because you can see pieces in the directions of where they could and they can't go.
Yeah, you're
When
seeing
you
the
talk about
improvement pieces.
yeah, when you talk about contenders, it's difficult because this is a team that's been to a Super Bowl 2 years in a row, been to a conference championship game. The main ingredients are there. The pieces that they are losing are at the least important positions on the field. Like you said, for example, they lost Von Bell and Jesse Bates, but that's your safeties. If you want to lose somebody, you lose your safeties. Yeah, it might hurt, but it's not gonna hurt as much as if you would have lost to Trey Hendricks, or if you would have lost to Logan Wilson, or you didn't resign to Jermaine Pratt, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You might have started some internal conflict because if I remember hearing right, and I don't know if it was bull or not, when you signed Orlando Brown, Jonah Williams wanted out because he wants left tackle and left tackle money type deal. You bring in Orlando Brown. I'm not an Orlando Brown guy.
Me neither.
I knew when he was in Baltimore, he said it. He wanted to move from right to left to get left tackle money. He went to KC, got his little bread, and ended up being like the fourth best lineman on the team. So I would have moved off of you two. And I don't think that move going to Cincy should save you. But if you're telling me the saving grace is the fact that you moved your left tackle to right, who's been around, that's gonna make me feel more at peace. Joe Burrow, top tier, top 2, 3, whatever you want to say, at minimum quarterback in the league. Jamar Chase, top 2, 3 wide receiver you want to say in the league. T. Higgins, probably the best number 2 wide receiver that you could have. BJ Hill, DJ Reader, Sam Hubbard, Trey Hendricks, Logan Wilson, that front seven, fire. I have all concerns for your secondary though. Yeah, like I really do.
Awuzie, Sam
Yeah,
Caleb Britt.
Taylor Britt, Dax Hill, you bring over Scott, Michael Thomas, you signed. Now Jordan Battle, I kind of liked him coming out. We'll see what he turns out to be, if anything. I said, like I always like say, we always try to find those needle movers. And for me, with Cincy, there truly just was no needle mover.
Nah,
It
not at
was
all.
just, yeah, it was just like so. Tyler Boyd went up recently, like last week, and said that if he didn't get hurt in the AFC Championship game, they would have won. And I didn't realize, which is crazy because remember, I went to the game, Moose, right? I
Yeah.
went to the game. When you're at the game, you kind of don't notice that stuff.
Right. Because it's not
And then,
being like announced and
yeah,
talked
it's
about.
not being announced, it's not being broadcasted. And then there's such bad signal when you try to look it up, it takes you forever to find it. And that game was freezing news. So I was running back and forth from spending time on the field to running into the shop trying to stay warm. You know what I'm saying? So Tyler Boyd goes and he says, if I didn't get hurt, we win that game because I was the X factor. The plan was for him to cook McDuffie, and somebody comes up and shows, oh, look, Tyler Boyd had like 2 catches for 40 yards and then he got hurt. So this is a team that believes they were wrong player, wrong time away. So he said when it comes to contenders like that, who's like, I think there is no needle mover for Cincinnati. I just think they're just here.
Yeah. You think they've peaked in where they can get and now
It's
they're gonna
not
start the
bad.
regression?
It's not bad to say you peaked when all of your guys are walking into their prime. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, the entire D line, Logan Wilson
That whole
are
front seven.
walking. Are walking into their prime. So like that's okay to say you peak. Like I said, I think sometimes we get caught up on the fact of like if you're a consistent force in the conference championship game, I think that's a great place to be at. And you're not getting like you won one championship game, you lost one, they were competitive games. It's just kind of like take it to the drawing board and get right. You know what
Do,
I'm saying? Like,
do you think this
and
team
you
is
were
gonna end up like the Indianapolis Colts of the Peyton Manning time? Minus Peyton Manning, minus the players there, but they were the guys that always got there, but they just
side
couldn't
note,
get there.
Peyton Manning's early career sucked, y'all. I want y'all to remember
Yeah,
that.
he was
Peyton
buns.
Manning sucked. Yeah, Peyton Manning sucked very early. With a lot. And people be like, they keep bringing up the picks. Nah, bro was real bad, and then the team got better. Cincinnati in that case, I told you. Well, so before I didn't like Zach Taylor, but now I got all the respect in the world for what I seen him do with this team. What Joe Burrow did in the time while Jamar Chase was out last year showed me that they were locked in. I don't think it's bad to say you peaked when I know that you still have potentially 3 years of playing at this level.
A 3-year
Then I'm
window
like,
of
yeah,
continuing.
yeah. Then I'm like, that's okay because even if you have to adjust something, you're not gonna clean house. It might be okay. 3 years from now, T. Higgins might not be here. 3 years from now, BJ Hill or DJ Reader might not be here, or you might have found somebody else. But like the players you lost who are replaceable is something that honestly, like at a last minute, you could probably make a trade deadline trade for and pick somebody up. Want to throw it out there. Arizona eventually has to move off Buda Baker.
He's
You
coming
don't
to
think,
the Eagles.
okay, you don't think that the Eagles, the Bengals, the Bills, who like teams who are like, okay, we'll send you a second and a third for this dude.
Yeah,
There's teams who are willing and ready to pluck from these lower level teams
yeah.
who are ready to be like, okay, no, you guys know your window. There's a Buda Baker move at the deadline seems like the thing to me. And they're like, If you told me we got to the trade deadline and be like, damn, Buda Baker got traded to the Bengals, I'd be like, oh, hell no. Nah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's that stuff to it. Like, I don't think it's bad to say you peak when I feel like you're going to be like this for 3 years, like Boston Celtics. Like, you just keep knocking
Yeah,
on the window and it's okay. You know what I'm saying? I think that's okay. Yeah, at the end of it, you would want to win,
yeah,
but the way they've been losing has been an extra second on the O line, and yeah, Jamar Chase might have that ball down there. Or from what Tyler Boyd says, if he didn't get hurt, or the push out of bounds on Mahomes at the last second that gave the kicker better stuff. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? You're not being outplayed. A couple things is just going against you, and I think that's okay. So, what do you think about the Bengals, man?
Nah, man, everything you said was valid. They're definitely going to be one of those teams. I think as long as those of y'all watching don't get too caught up in mainstream media, and Cincinnati keeps losing the way they do. If they do that the next 2 years, we're gonna hear a whole lot of this team is on the downtrend. This team is not who we thought they were. But I mean, if we're talking in the conversations that we have, that's a great thing for Bengals fans. That's a great thing for
Yeah,
the Bengals as a franchise, because now you have a quarterback who receivers want to play with.
yeah,
Right? Receivers want to be here. Then you have 3 real young wide receivers. You got Irv Smith, who's your tight end now. You got a front seven, like you said, is probably one of the best front sevens in the league. Their
yeah,
secondary is the weakest point, which that's a number of the teams that have great front sevens.
yeah,
But I think it's just really just going to come down to patience, right? Not necessarily for this team, but for fans. If you're a Bengals fan and you're for real life a Bengals fan, look at your last 10 years and tell me you ain't going to be happy just knocking on the door the next 2 years.
yeah. So I said that if you have to nitpick at some point, I think it's just going to be the same stuff we hear all the time. I don't think Orlando Brown moves the needle on the O line for me. What actually does is the fact that just Jonah Williams is going to the other side. I don't think Orlando Brown's going to have no All Pro year. And you said it's just concerns for the secondary, but you got a great DC. So you know what I'm saying. If you have this, if your front seven is as solid as you can, I can trust that your staff is getting the back part of it ready. So I'm okay with that. You got Shooter McGavin as a kicker too. So yeah. Yeah, so shooters up there. I do have the little concerns about what you call it, Samaje Perine gone.
Hmm.
Just had like bro's gone, so we'll see what happens with Joe
The
Mixon. That's
solid
well,
number 2.
yeah. I think if there was like a Joe Mixon down year, we'll see what happens. So let's check out the schedule, man, and see if they can repeat as kings of the AFC North. Oh, did you give your 3 key players? 3 key players, man.
Logan Wilson, Awuzie, and Sam Hubbard. I'm gonna keep it
Yeah,
very straightforward. I'm gonna go all 3 levels of the defense. Key players, Logan Wilson, hell of a linebacker. We saw what he did last year. We became big fans of Logan Wilson just because he's just one of those fundamental linebackers. You know what I mean?
runs clean.
Sam Hubbard continue to be someone on the D line to make some noise. Do something going into this year, right? You have a hell of a front seven, you have a hell of a linebacking core, and then that's where Awuzie comes in to complement those other 2 I picked. What are you going to do on
Yeah,
the back end to give these guys some time to actually get a pass rush in, to make some
yeah,
decisions, to make some reads on the defensive line and and the secondary? So
yeah. All right, mine's Orlando Brown. You're the key player for sure. You mentioned in your stuff about playing for a contender and all this stuff, and pretty much a left tackle for sale at this point. So let's see if you are the improvement to the O line, if that's in you. And then, I said Cam Taylor Britt, Woozier. Let's see what can happen on the back end in the secondary. You're missing Jesse Bates and Von Bell, who I believe were guys that used to put y'all in y'all place in the secondary to keep y'all there. So we'll see what y'all can look like on the back end of that defense.
cool.
All right, let's check out the Cincinnati Bengals schedule and see if they can repeat.
Cleveland, Baltimore,
Up-
Rams, Titans.
So up to the bye week at week 7, I can see 2, 3, 4, 5 wins.
Are they winning in Cleveland week 1, or is that the game we have them dropping?
We had them dropping.
Winning against Baltimore at home, beating the Rams at home, beating Tennessee at home, or in Tennessee. Are they beating Tennessee?
Yep.
Beating Arizona. I think everybody beating Arizona. and then losing against Seattle at home.
Yep. No,
Cool.
I had them beating Seattle.
5-1. Oh, you said 5-1. Got it. Frisco, first week out of the bye. First game out of the bye, excuse me.
Dub.
In Frisco.
The Frisco fans are gonna be so mad. I'm probably about to go up and say Frisco's gonna win 3 games. So people are just yeah. I'm for real. Every time we mention Frisco, we mention them losing. I noticed that. So yeah.
At home against Buffalo.
Yeah. I'll give it to Cincy.
Sunday night.
I'll give it to because even in the game that was cut off, Cincy gave me the vibe that they was gonna blow him out. So
Houston, dub. In Baltimore.
At Baltimore.
Pittsburgh. At home against Pittsburgh. In Jacksonville.
I'm gonna give that to Jacksonville.
I'll go say because I feel like we've been giving Jacksonville a lot of L's.
We really have. But I'm gonna give that to Jacksonville because we talked about the secondary, and one thing we know is Jacksonville's gonna have weapons. Facts. So they gonna Dougie P. Yeah, they go. I just think that but I do lean the teams that got a good running game against Jacksonville. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Just because that front seven.
Yeah, but then we looking at Cincinnati and their back end, and I'm like, yo, Calvin Ridley and Christian Kirk and these dudes might get after these.
Gonna cook.
Yeah, they might cook that game. So, Colts dub versus Minnesota.
Minnesota at home.
Dub. I kind of want to say they're gonna lose.
Hey, the time is TBD. So if they end up putting that at a prime time, we know Kirk Cousins ain't gonna win.
Yeah, we'll give him a dub. We'll give him at Pittsburgh. Dub at KC. We'll give KC the dub.
Cleveland at home against Cleveland in the season.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 5.
Right, they're losing against Cleveland at home to end the season?
No, I had them winning.
Who's their 5th loss to? 1, 2, 3, 4. Did they lose against Pittsburgh?
Jacksonville.
I got Jacksonville. I got KC. I got Baltimore. And then I got Cleveland week 1.
I have a feeling Pittsburgh might sneak one.
We'll give them that last one against Pittsburgh. I think at the end of the season, they'll probably drop a game. So 12-5 ceiling. I want to say the ceiling it might be 13.
Yeah, I'll go 13 win, 10 floor.
13-4 ceiling. And then 10-7 floor. Cool. Damn. I mean, I think we expected a good season from the Bengals either way.
Yeah. Man. Like I said, when it comes to a team like this, it's tough to say because the stuff you nitpick at, other teams would love to be able to nitpick at stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you just, again, man, I just want to say you have a top-tier quarterback, top-tier coordinators, coach, receiver. At all the important positions on the field, you have elite play and elite coaching. So it should keep you in this window of it really could be your year at any time. Yeah. So I do have like the nitpick stuff I would say is you almost lost to Tyler Huntley in a playoff game if it wasn't for a fumble at the 2-yard line that they run back for a touchdown. You could have lost that game. Or you like stuff like that is what I look at. Because in a lot of those games, I was tough on Cincy last year. They beat Tennessee because Ryan Tannehill throws 3 picks and is just soiling the game. But, I said when it comes to point, like the only team they really dominated to me over this course when I felt like they matched up is Buffalo. Yeah. I felt like each and every time they met with Buffalo, they was just clearly the better team.
And I just Buffalo secondary, like
and I think that's coaching and the stylistic thing. I think just the way that Sean McDermott and Zach Taylor and their staffs match up, I just think Cincinnati has the juice to always make them look bad.
Yeah.
I just think that's it. I just think that they got them figured out.
Yep.
So we'll see.
And I mean, we'll have that same conversation with the Rams and the Niners, right? Like with McVay and What's his face over there?
Yeah, McVay and God Shanahan.
Shanahan.
I just think what one coach does is just a counter of what you do, and they just got the better of you there. So like Canelo fighting Floyd. Like you think you're gonna do one thing, and they're just gonna keep wearing your behind out one way or another, and you be like, I can't do nothing else. This is all I got. And you're like, yeah, I know. So let's get through this. So anything? Final thoughts about the Cincinnati Bengals?
No, I think that was probably the easiest of the teams in the AFC North.
Yeah,
I mean, we talked about their ceiling being 13, floor being 10. And I mean, we could easily point those 3 games out, right? Pittsburgh sealing the game, Buffalo coming back for a revenge game, and then the Niners that we continue to give losses.
yeah, we
They
really
could
do.
easily make that a dub. But
Niners is like 0-8 right now. We've covered 8 teams so far, and I don't think we gave the Niners one win yet.
I think all of them
So
ended
yeah,
up beating them. But hey,
I
Niners
want them.
fans, y'all, it is what
Yeah,
it is.
I
We'll get to
for
y'all.
the year. I want them to like. I don't understand how much I'm gonna push that agenda on the 49ers if they go into the year with Brock Purdy. Like I'm gonna be like, y'all are making the biggest mistake that you could make,
I
and
think he's
not
out
because I
until
think
like week 5, week 6.
they better hope he is because it gives them free, reign to play Trey. But trust
But
me, y'all look. I try to ride for him because he was with me, but y'all tread out Sam Darnold if you want to. I'm
hey, they
telling
say
you, boy.
when Purdy comes back, he's the definitive starter. So
Yeah, so I'm saying I hope that something happens, man, so we can actually see Trey, but we'll see, man.
I want to see the 49ers
Uh
suck just because of everything their players said about the Eagles last year. Like
yeah.
you
You
play
wanna
with who
you,
you
you
got,
wanna
man.
you wanna talk about a team that's peeking out the window, should be them, but we'll save that for when we get to them.
Yeah, we're a
All
few
right.
weeks away from them, y'all. We'll get to y'all
Yeah.
though.
Dark horse in the AFC North. Dark horse coach, player, thought, something that's just kind of been on your mind. Uh Dark horse in the AFC North. I told you I think there is a chance, like you said, 3 teams come out the North and Cleveland could be a 10, 11 win team.
My dark horse out the north, player wise. I don't know if I got a player that's a dark horse. I think everything the AFC North is what it is. What you see is what you get. I don't think there's any secrets there. But as far as like a bold claim, bold prediction is, Mike Tomlin gonna find a way to win 12 games with Kenny Pickett.
See, I'm on the opposite. I more want to lean to the fact that I think they're a 5-6 win team.
Damn.
I really do. I really do. I want to lean to the fact that I think that's my like. If I had to really make a stamp of like a swing at some, I think Pittsburgh is a 5-6 win team, and I don't think it's. Yeah, I just don't. I just think from where they're at and where it compares to, it's not that it's bad. It's just gonna not be good enough.
And
That's just kind of.
the reason I'm gonna say they're gonna win 12 games is Kenny Pickett gonna have his he gonna have his Tebow year. It's gonna be the year
Yeah,
where everything goes right for him.
I think everything went right last year. That's the problem. I think everything went
Everything
right
went right for
last
you
year.
last year with 9 games.
Yeah, I think that's more where I'm leaning to, man. All right. Um, rank the AFC North quarterbacks.
Ooh.
So for me, it's Burrow, Lamar, Watson, Pickett.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Burrow, Lamar, Watson, Pickett.
And I think when the year ends, it should probably still be Burrow, Lamar, Watson, Pickett. But I think it should be Burrow, Lamar, Watson, find another guy to play quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like I think the gap should become significantly bigger that you clearly have the
Uh,
worst. So it should be like, oh, you got a 3-headed monster over here, and then you got, yo, what the hell is going on?
that ugly sister.
Yeah.
Damn, I think when
So,
the year ends, it's gonna be Burrow, Lamar, Pickett, Watson.
and that's where you go, okay, Cleveland, you have a problem. But it is tough for me to see so what is the world where we look and we say, oh, Deshaun Watson's number one?
Ooh. In that division?
And if you asked me 2 years ago, before the Joe Burrow breakout, before even after, in between the Lamar MVP season and the Joe Burrow with Jamar Chase Super Bowl run, I would have been like Deshaun should be a top 3, top 4 quarterback in the league. Now, you said 2 years have passed, things are different. So, what does the world look like where Deshaun Watson is the best quarterback in the division?
He got to come out. He got to come out and give us 12 games. Give us 12 games of a win, 12 winning games, and then be up there in that 4K 4,500, conversation
I
for all those top 5 quarterbacks that we talk about.
I think it has to be an MVP caliber season.
And I mean that might be what the MVP because last year he played 6 games, threw for 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Right? If we take the predictor and we put him in all 17 games, that puts him at about 3K, about 3,300, 25 touchdowns with 14, 13 interceptions. To me, that still makes you the worst quarterback in that division, or that makes you the 3rd best quarterback in that division. Especially if we're looking at what Kenny Pickett did with the games that he played, but he's gonna have to take that and increase that significantly.
Yeah. So I think it would definitely have to be a 11-12 win season with an MVP season. That'll make us be like, okay, Deshaun is who we last saw him to be, and it can start the argument. But yeah, I think when the year should end, if Pickett and Watson are arguably still 3rd and 4th, then there's going to be a problem for both them teams. So, all right, rank the AFC North head coaches.
Ooh.
So rightfully so, Stefanski's at the bottom.
Yeah, Stefanski's going to just stay at the bottom. I might have Harbaugh number 1.
Only coach of the year, and he's crazy.
I think I might have a Harbaugh number 1, Zach Taylor number 2, and then Tomlin. That sounds so bad.
It's not bad, though. That's the problem. Like, it's not bad to say that, but then when you look at it, you got the 2nd best head coach, according to your list, and the best quarterback, and Mike Tomlin's the 3rd best head coach with the 4th quarterback. Like, it's almost like...
Yeah, when you put those two together.
Yeah, and then you got Stefanski, who's the worst coach, but you got the 3rd best quarterback. But you still, it's still Baltimore, Cincy at the top, too.
Yeah, I still got to put Harbaugh up there, though, just because with not having Lamar, still making it to the playoffs, figuring out what to do with that backup quarterback, and then the 3rd-string quarterback for the last couple of games. To me, that put you up there, right? Because if you put Lamar in there, obviously it's a big what if, but if you put Lamar in that conversation, it's a whole different story. You're still going to have Harbaugh up there, but Harbaugh to me is the top guy.
Yeah. All right. Best defense in the AFC North.
The Bengals. The Ravens.
I actually like the Ravens.
Because as soon as I said the Bengals, the secondary came into my head, and it was just, nah. Yeah. I'm going to go with the Ravens. Ooh, the Ravens. Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, Browns.
Yep. I would have to say that too. Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, Browns.
And it's closer with the Bengals and the Steelers than it is with the Ravens and the Bengals.
Yeah. All right. At the end of the year, what will the AFC North standing look like? Who will win the North?
The Ravens.
After looking at this, I actually still have the Bengals winning it. Nah, I'm going to stand with it. I'll have the Ravens winning the division. I have the Ravens winning.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Ravens. There's going to be no more conversation around Lamar getting his contract. No more conversation around you don't have weapons. Do it.
Yeah. Man. Any final thoughts on the AFC North as a whole, man? Final. I told you, man. I think the more that I think about this, the more that I'm really starting to lean that I think Pittsburgh is gonna. Unfortunately, I don't think I can say unfortunately. It might be the best thing. Sometimes you're too good for your own good, man, and you need a bad year. So
Kenny Pickett taking them to 10 to 12 wins next year.
Shoot. That'll be hilarious. I definitely have to be ready to eat my words on that if Kenny Pickett does that.
And if he don't, I'm just going to look like an idiot. That's cool with me.
Yeah. So,
Got to plant my flag
all
somewhere in
right,
every division.
man. Yeah. All right, y'all. That is the AFC North. If you've been with us long enough, drop a like or a dislike. We take either or. Constructive criticism is accepted. All comments matter. Tell us how you feel. Tell us if we missed something. We don't like y'all. We don't know everything. We try to give y'all as fair review as we can. We do love our teams, but we're fans of the game, y'all. So if there is and one thing that I personally try to do, let us know about an offensive coordinator, a coaching change within staff that we may not know about. A lot of people come up in the ranks, front office, stuff like that too. We know a lot of things go on that help to know what's going on with these teams, y'all. So if you haven't, drop a sub, drop a like. That is the AFC North with TTE Talk, y'all. I'm Vita Van Pelt. That's soy sauce. The next episode you see will be the NFC East. We'll be going over the soys here in the NFC East.
Yeah, fly Eagles,
So we're done
fly.
with the North. So the North is done. The NFC North is out. The AFC North is here. The next episode will be the NFC East, y'all. So thank you for watching with us. Vita Van Pelt, soy sauce. We are out, y'all.